You know, it can be tricky to admit you're wrong, but if you made a mistake, you need to know how to apologize to your boyfriend or your husband. It's an essential skill for any woman that finds herself maybe acting out and she needs to make amends. After all, anybody can make a mistake, but it's much more important to heal the hurt feelings and your relationship. So let's get into it. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingfire.com and datingadviceguru.com. Now, your situation may be different in some ways, but you should search your heart for ways to forgive each other, right? Yeah, even if it's not your fault and you didn't make a mistake, you don't want to make yourself regret not reaching out and fixing the problem. Now, if he's done something genuinely awful, then of course you should definitely not apologize for that. However, if you know that you're in the wrong and you just got to put your ego aside and do the right thing. Sure, it can be as easy as saying you're sorry, but you also don't want to appear like you have no remorse or you don't mean it. So there are a lot of mistakes you can make when you're apologizing, and I want to help you with the words and actions to help you regain his trust. Let's dig into the first one. Let's start with the first tip right now, and that is the best place is to begin by figuring out where you are with him right now. Have you just had an argument or a disagreement? Is he starting to get a little cold and distant? Did you maybe send him a text and you got nothing back from him? Are your emotions a little raw and tender? Are things so bad that you need to see a counselor or even a therapist? Look, wherever you're starting from, just take a moment to really consider your current situation. Wherever you're starting from, simply resolve to let go of your own hurt first. That's big, because if you're just seeking an apology from him with your apology, you could come across as being a little cold. In other words, where you say you're sorry so that you hope to hear him say he's sorry. From here, you can take the steps to open up the communication and get back to being a couple, but you got to be willing to look at your own behavior first before you get into making a list of all his faults and, why it's not going to work out. The reason most people let a small argument or fight get out of hand is because of what? Pride. It's tempting to try to get satisfaction by squeezing an I'm sorry out of him, but no one is going to really benefit if you just look at trying to install guilt at the first opportunity you get. To make a relationship work, you both have to be willing to make amends and admit your part in the disagreement, right? Of course, this always starts with you. If he's not admitting his own problems and he's just giving you excuses, your problem might not be in the apology, right? It might have to do with your partner's attitude towards relationships. But let's stay focused on what you can do right now with what you got. Okay, next up, in understanding how to apologize to your boyfriend, this tip is seek first to understand his position. There's this old saying that goes, seek first to understand, then to be understood, which simply means that if you're more focused on getting him to see your point of view and your perspective, well, you could risk pushing him even further away. You got to know where he is thinking, what's going on in his heart and mind. Healing the rift between you might require some growth on both of you, right? If you're still stuck in your blame, apologies aren't going to do anything for you, so you got to be patient. Now, once you understand where he's coming from and what he's feeling, then you can start to get to work on getting him to see your position. He has to be heard first, so pay attention to what he's feeling. The more you know about why he's angry or disconnected from you, the easier it's going to be for you to fix the situation. It takes a lot for a man to communicate his emotions. You may even have to ask his friends to really find out what he's feeling and what pain he might be going through. Just be delicate, of course. To be honest, most men experience that a woman has an emotional reaction and then shuts out talking about his feelings completely. It tends to become all about her. And of course, men are more likely to retreat into silence where he can feel comfort and safety, so you won't even know this is happening. Which actually leads us to the next thing. Hey, if you need to apologize to him, there's a chance you might have pushed him away, right? Even just a little. Well, maybe you're worried he's going to stay distant or mad at you. Do you want to win him back? Well, if you want to find out, you can take my short quiz. Go on over to datingfire.com/get him back. That's datingfire.com/get him back. Take that quiz and find out. How to apologize to your boyfriend. The next tip is just because he's distant doesn't mean he's leaving. Very often a woman is panicking. She's thinking that a man's distance means he's on the way out the door, that he's leaving the relationship, or that he's falling out of love. Now, that's certainly possible, but in reality, a man's process of getting over a fight simply means that he's going to turn towards himself while he figures things out. Just because he's quiet doesn't mean he isn't thinking over what just happened, or even thinking about his responsibility in the relationship. Most men become very reasonable after their emotions calm down. So when a man disconnects after an argument, he may not be leaving you, but you should definitely check your instincts just in case. You don't want to ignore the distance either. Stay cool, stay patient, but keep a close eye on him just the same. The next tip is, please make sure you are cool and composed. You don't want to go back to him with a lot of heated emotions. You got to stay calm, cool, and collected. This is the one thing that will not change his mind if he thinks you're just trying to smooth everything over to get him to like you again. A lot of times that's what we do, right? You're still in a panic, but you want to smooth things over, so you rush right in. The last thing you want to do is go apologize to him and then slip back into anger mode and blame him all over again, and that reopens the old wound. Your intentions are to face and let go of your own pain as much as you can. This way he's going to pick up on your willingness to heal the wounds and reestablish your intimacy. Hey, a little side hint here, your apology should focus on him, not on you. The last thing you want to do is start your apology with, you know, I'm sorry about all this, but you made me do it. That's not a good way to make him forgive you, right? All he's going to hear is that you're not taking responsibility, and his frustration is going to come right back and, of course, lead into another argument. By staying as relaxed as you can, he's also going to keep his cool, and this will keep him open to you and get him talking more. And then after he feels like he's been heard, you can delicately begin to address anything that he might be still feeling a little hurt about. Hey, if you like these tips, go hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You can get these videos every single week, and you'll know when they're released, when they are. Don't miss out. The next tip is review the damage. Spend some time with your journal and review what happened between you two. Very often you lose perspective of how your argument might have crossed boundaries or hurt your mutual respect. Take a moment, reflect on the words that were said. Is it possible you misheard or maybe misinterpreted him? Is it possible you were blinded by some emotional panic and you couldn't hear him? Is the issue a difference of opinion? What do you think his reasons were for what he said? Really, take a look at the statements each one of you made during the argument. It's possible you jumped to a response, which then made it hard for you two to hear each other. And make sure you review what he said to you that you might not have heard completely the first time. Chances are he gave you plenty of clues as to what was really bothering him. Now, one of the best ways you can turn the damage into a stronger relationship is simply by explaining where you're coming from. Explain to him why you had the reaction you did. Tell him why you said the wrong thing or did the wrong thing. Help him understand, because that's how you apologize to your boyfriend without even having to say you're sorry. And this next tip is probably the most important one. Commit yourself to working on the relationship. This one goes hand in hand with all my other tips. If you have an action plan for making your relationship better, that's the secret for most couples' success. Eventually, this commitment becomes a kind of faith in each other. If you're just willing to make small improvements every single day in your relationship, you're going to find that you become much more secure with him. Just tell him what you plan to do, whatever solution you came up with from the whole debacle of this argument. You might say, you know what, I decided I'm going to stop using those kinds of words because they hurt your feelings. Or, I will make a commitment to change my schedule so we can see each other more each week. Just tell him exactly what you plan to do, and that's usually enough of an apology for a guy. A man just wants to know that this won't keep happening over and over again, okay? Repeating mistakes like that is what really kills the feelings of love. The more solutions you can bring to the table, the happier he's going to be, and the faster he's going to forgive you. You see, every relationship runs into its share of problems. But if your relationship is on the rocks right now, you might be at risk of losing him. If he's growing distant or pulling away, it's time to get him back. But the question is it too late? You want to find out? Just take my quiz. Go on over to the Can You Win Him Back quiz over at datingfire.com/get him back. Really do it. It's going to give you some insights that you might not have had before. And you know what? If you want more of this topic, you can go back over to datingfire.com and just click on the article to get the parts that I couldn't fit into the video. I can't always pack it into this short space. And if you're new here, or even if you're not, do the big three. Like and subscribe. You can get this stuff every single week. Turn on the notifications. Click that bell icon so you can get notified when I release more incredible videos coming soon. And if you're already subscribed, please share this stuff. Right now it's harder than ever for small content creators like me to get in front of the women who need to see this great advice. So share it with somebody who needs it. Don't let them bury me in the algorithm. And of course, number 3, comment below. Do you agree with the tips I gave you? Is there another video you want? Do you want a part 2 to this one? Just let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I do read the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can each week. Don't forget, wait a few more seconds. I'm going to put a recommended video right up here in the corner for you to click. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo. As always, live and love with passion.